Guys, seriously, what's the strongest devil fruit in One Piece? Cause it gotta be Luffy's
Hobi
Hito
Hobi
Hito
No
Gura No Mi, right?
Model Nika?
Time out.
Hey, you gotta be kidding me.
He just
How
touched
can you
somebody
say-
and they're dead.
Bro,
It's the
Dragon
Hobi
is
Hobi No Mi.
up, bro. Luffy's the
Listen,
main character.
The Gura Gura No Mi belong to the strongest man in the world. What are we doing?
But is it a god fruit?
This is
Imagination
ridiculous.
is reality. You can stretch your pee-pee. What the heck are you on about? This is the most ultimate
That
fruit
does not
in
make you the
existence.
strongest, okay?
Tell that to Luffy and Boa Hancock.
What did he say?
Well, the first fruit on this list has to be Luffy's Hito Hito no Mi model Nika.
Of course!
As it's not just a devil fruit, but a god fruit. With its busted abilities, Luffy was able to overpower everyone from the 7 warlords to even a Yonko. And during his fight with Kaido is when the real brokenness of this fruit is highlighted. Even after taking countless thunder bagwas, Luffy kept getting back up, as the rubber powers of this fruit turns you into one of the most durable things in the series, with everything from cannonballs to blunt force attacks barely putting a dent on Luffy. The versatility of rubber also grants Luffy immunity to electricity and even gives him the ability to stretch any part of his body from bones to flesh. Yeah, I know what you guys are thinking, even that.
Yeah, boy.
But to end all discussions, activating the drums of liberation awakens the fruit, allowing the embodiment of sun god Nika. Due to it being a paramecia and a zoan, this fruit gives access to both forms of its awakening, recovering from damage in mere seconds, boosting overall stats, along with gaining the power to affect and stretch superficial things like haki. We saw this when Luffy, who had expended all of his haki just a moments prior, came back stronger than ever, giving him the power to create an island-sized armament fist. This insane ability to stretch can also affect other things around through just his haki touching them, which Luffy was able to grab lightning and run on air. Essentially, whatever the user imagines becomes reality. Like if Luffy believes you can run on water, then bam, the Nika God fruit will allow you to do so. With this in mind, we have even theorized how Luffy will be able to control even more intangible things like space and time later on in the series. So yeah, because this fruit can literally bend reality and has anime protagonist power, the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika is of course the strongest devil fruit in One Piece.
Are we serious? The Gura Gura No Mi is the second best devil fruit of all time, hands down. Initially wielded by Whitebeard, the Gura Gura No Mi almost toppled Marineford with a tsunami so large that Aokiji had to get off his seat and act as fast as possible and freeze the tsunami. Now Kuzan did a good job, but it was all for nothing because once Blackbeard got his hands on the fruit, he was able to successfully topple Marineford anyway. The Gura Gura No Mi gives the user the ability to create tremors and quakes. We know this because we literally have seen Whitebeard create a tremor on the skull of Vice Admiral Lawns. He also created shockwaves that were so powerful it sent thousands of Marines flying sky high. And let's not forget him tilting the whole sea while he was fighting Captain John Giant. Whitebeard even bested Oden in his prime by using tremor punches. Former Fleet Admiral Sengoku even stated that Whitebeard had the power to destroy the world. Now whether you believe that to be true or not is none of my concern, because the fruit literally speaks for itself. I mean, Marcel D. Teach even knew how powerful this fruit was, that he was willing to devise an entire plan just to steal it from Whitebeard's half-dead body. Was it cowardly? Of course. But was it smart? You gotta give it to him. Because when Blackbeard got his hands on this devil fruit, he became a Yonko in a blink of an eye. I mean, he literally decimated the remaining Whitebeard pirates in the Payback War. He took down a former legendary Rocks pirate in a Choku, and he even was boxing against Law's Devil Fruit Awakening using Tremor. The Gura Gura no Mi is it, y'all.
Alright, all these fruits are super powerful, but you guys are forgetting Sugar's fruit. I'm talking about the Hobi Hobi No Mi, whose power allows the user to transform people or animals into toys by simply touching them. You want to fight any top tier fruit user? Well, just go and touch him and it's game over. As after the victim is transformed, you can then create a contract with them, turning them into your slave. The user can also choose the type of toy they want the victim to become, through which Sugar was able to create soldiers who defended her like the Headcracker doll. These were so durable durable that even after Luffy's punch and Cavendish decapitating one of them, they just stood right back up. Furthermore, once the slave contract is set by the user, then the usual way of overpowering the fruit's effect with haki is nullified too, because the contract specifically suppresses the toy's will. That's why even skilled New World pirates fighting at the Colosseum couldn't break out of the Hobi Hobi no Mi. For example, a veteran beast like Don Chinchao with Conqueror's haki couldn't break free, and this guy was fighting Garp back in the day. Everyone from the Tontada dwarves to even giants were affected by this fruit's powers, and the worst part is that it's not just the person being turned into the toy who's affected. Everyone in the world instantly forgets all memories of the victim, basically wiping them from existence. And on top of all this, the user of the Hobi Hobi no Mi even gains eternal youth. Tell me this fruit is not the most broken.
Well, it's not, because
The next fruit has overpowered as its name and is even known as the ultimate devil fruit, which can cost you as much as 5 billion berries. I'm talking about Law's Ope Ope no Mi. With this fruit, you can create an operating room around you and gain control over everything inside that territory, from living things to non-living objects, and even abstract concepts like soul. Using shambles, the user can freely move anything around in the room, regardless of weight, even a freaking marine ship. With this, they can then teleport or even swap any two objects around, making battle extremely convenient. But as a surgeon to their operating room, they have complete control over their subjects to a degree unimaginable. So with amputate, the target are precisely sliced in any way or shape, and then can be rearranged to create unique forms like chimeras, or better yet, own the heart of your enemy and keep it in your pocket, cause why not? The insane thing is, the effects this fruit has on others sticks to its targets even outside of the room. Yes, even if the user is unconscious, sleeping, or has sea stones around them. But this OP-ness doesn't even stop there, as the user can create electricity, imbuing it onto their weapons, making their attacks extra devastating. And talking about imbuement, when it comes to awakening, this fruit just goes beyond, as it covers for the only weakness it might have had, which is the fact that you need to be inside of a room to use everything the fruit offers. But with awakening, the Kroom ability gives a smaller room that can be coated onto other objects or even thrown at them, where inside of this, any specific rule can be set, like removing the ability for sound to be heard, or if Law wants a Kroom where you got to hit that subscribe and ding that notification bell, you just gotta do it. This fruit can also give the person the ability to bypass haki. Yes, Law uses Kroom to coat his sword. Using the ability Anesthesia, he pierces through anything without harming the target, basically phasing right through them. Then using Shock Willy, electrocute the target from the inside. And Law does exactly this to the Yonko Big Mom. It was so powerful that it was able to pin and game end her. Additionally, the Ope Ope no Mi is said to have miraculous healing properties, where it can cure any kind of illness, provided the user has medical knowledge. And finally, the most busted ability of the Ope Ope no Mi is that it can grant anyone it chooses immortality. Except, you just gotta die.
Now I know we're not forgetting the Yami Yami no Mi. I know that's not happening. Blackbeard was willing to clap Thatch just because he knew how powerful this fruit was. It grants the user the power of absorption into darkness, similar to that of a black hole. Absorption of what, you ask? Devil fruit powers? An infinite amount of objects or elements? Literally anything. When Ace first confronted Teach, Teach absorbed the entire island just to flex, and then he emptied the debris later on. The Yami Yami no Mi also gives Teach the ability to negate devil fruit powers and make contact with Logias. It's pretty much like a poor man's armament haki added into the devil fruit. For instance, Teach was able to nullify Ace's Meta Meta no Mi and Whitebeard's Gura Gura no Mi when he made contact with them. He even severely injured Luffy by grabbing him first when they fought in Impel Down, and then he was able to slam him down to make sure that Luffy experienced the true pain that his devil fruit normally buffered. However, there is a drawback. drawback. Yami Yami no Mi is a logia, meaning that Blackbeard's body is going to assume the properties of the fruit, which means he's going to experience the pain being absorbed as well. Because of this, Blackbeard actually experiences pain at a higher tier.
Next up is the fruit of the strongest creature in the world, Hito's Ua Ua no Mi modeled Seiryu. This is a mythical zoan which allows the user to transform into a dragon whose size rivals small towns. As a giant dragon, you can destroy towns just by moving around. Just punching someone with the weight of your size would be enough to kill 99.9% of the enemy. Now, this size could be a disadvantage, right? Since you know the enemy will have a bigger target, but fear not, because being a dragon means you will have quite the mobility, as we see with Kaido catching Luffy by surprise multiple times with his tail swipe. Plus, the azure blue scales the user gains from this fruit are so durable that Luffy's Gear 4 Kongun merely tickled Kaido. Only Conqueror's Haki infused attacks were able to pierce the dragon's skin. Furthermore, the user also gains a variety of non-physical abilities like Flame Cloud, which can be used to fly through the air. These clouds are so OP that they can even lift up other objects like a freaking island. And we know this island lifting ability wasn't so strong because of Kaido's training, as Momonosuke in less than 10 minutes was able to figure out how he could lift Onigashima away from crashing into Wano. The user can also control fire, where a concentrated scorching blast of it can be shot to travel for miles in seconds, wielding enough power to flatten a mountain. Additionally, at the end of Kaido's fight against Gear 5 Luffy, he used an ability called Kaien Daiko, where he coated his entire dragon body with flames turning into a fire dragon, which meant any opponent who would try to touch him would become his Sunday barbecue dinner. Kaido was also shown to control lightning through his roar that summoned it in the anime. He even controlled the air, causing super fast tornadoes, confirming to us that the user of this fruit can bend all 4 elements, making them the Avatar.
Now we can't forget about the other Yonko, Big Mom's fruit, the Soru Soru no Mi. This paramecia type allowed Big Mom to manipulate human soul, where she could manifest and draw out souls of people who feared her. This taken soul can then be consumed by the user, extending their lifespan. This means that if you had this fruit, you could become immortal, as Big Mom could even consume decades worth of Pedro's life. Additionally, let's say you take 2 years from your victim, but they only had 1 year to live, then that person dies instantly. The user can even insert soul fragments into non-living objects and humanize them, calling them homies. These personified things then become your literal homies, you get what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, they become like slaves, and the more soul years she imbues into them, the more powerful they can become. Then you have the ability to use your own soul fragment in creating some busted homies, where each of them could be mistaken to have their own devil fruits. For example, Big Mom Zeus or Hera are like mini Goro Goro no Mi users, or even Prometheus, being able to burn things like Ace's Mira Mira no Mi. Big Mom was also able to control the candy made by Perospero's devil fruit through sharing her own soul fragment into it. This is so busted, where it allows the user to use multiple elements as their power: fire, electricity, even sea, candy, anything you can think of. They have supreme control over it. Furthermore, you can even turn individual body parts into homies, where then the parts can act independently, like we saw with Big Mom, giving life to her skeleton, restructuring itself, healing all the broken bones. So if you have cancer, any diseases, then no worries, because you can turn that tumor into a homie and tell it to get out of your body.
Okay, that was cute, but it is not the Zushi Zushi no Mi. Fujitora was blessed with obtaining the power of this fruit, which actually helped him achieve admiral status. The Zushi Zushi no Mi grants the user full control over gravitational forces. Fujitora's mastery of this fruit is so strong that he's able to draw meteors from outer space through the atmosphere directly to his location. He used a meteor against Trafalgar Law and even Doflamingo's birdcage. He can also make objects levitate by changing the direction of gravitational pull or the force of gravity gravitational pull. This is basically like having Shiki's float fruit added onto his devil fruit. Fujitora is so strong that he was able to push Zoro deep into the ground. And let's not forget that he can also change gravitational forces laterally. Remember when he fought against Luffy? He changed the gravitational pull sideways, which made Luffy have to fall sideways. And let's not forget, he was doing this while he was holding the rubble of Dressrosa up at the same time. Even the celestial dragons know of its immense power. Fujitora was forced to hold his powers back while he was trying to apprehend Asabo in the Holy Land because of how destructive the Zushi Zushi no Mi actually is.
A surprising addition to this list is the Pawpaw fruit of Bartholomew Kuma. This fruit turns the user into a paw human. This means that the user can compress anything they touch into a paw-shaped bubble. This power also gives you some super broken defense in battle, where you can deflect or boomerang any attack that comes your way. So almost every other long-range devil fruit attack can be sent back to the enemy. The user can also repel the air itself at very high speeds for offensive use, which are so strong that it leaves paw-shaped prints on the rocks. With this Ursh's shock, Kuma was even able to throw down mini nuke attacks, one-shotting Oars Jr., a continent puller. Kuma can even instantly repel anything or anyone to the other side of the world with just a touch. Yep, pop and you're off to space. When this move is used, it kind of feels like teleportation. However, the true power of the Pawpaw fruit was just recently revealed, where Kuma is able to repel memories and store them. Yep, we are talking about intangible things such as emotion or even pain, like we didn't see with Zoro taking on Luffy's pain. This also proves that the Pawpaw fruit user could heal any wound or sickness he might get, as with such intangible things being able to be stored, you gotta wonder if you could perhaps repel someone's bad luck or good luck out of them. Or better yet, what if you can repel the will to fight from the enemies, like with Perona's Hollow fruit.
Finally, we have the Goro Goro no Mi, a fruit so OP that, according to Robin, it is one of the few powers said to make the user invincible. The main power of this fruit is to turn the user into lightning itself. However, you can also generate and control electricity. Transforming into electricity means that pretty much all swordsmen are useless against you, as the conductivity of the blade would instantly electrocute the attacker. In fact, any conductive metal can be melted and reshaped. Enel is seen doing this to gold. So pretty much all physical attacks are off limits. And if you don't know, seawater is also super conductive. The Goro Goro no Mi can pretty much fry anyone in the sea. Also, by becoming electricity, the user can move at 270,000 miles per hour. And although this Logia isn't as fast as Kizaru's light fruit, it gives the user more maneuverability compared to it. For instance, the user can merge themselves with conductive materials like gold, traveling through them for some cool sneak attacks. This fruit even lets you create electricity inside to restart the heart like a defibrillator. However, the most busted abilities of this fruit are highlighted in long-range cases, like shooting out electricity into the sky for it to just come back down, killing the target. Literally, the range is ridiculous. It can go on for miles. And the crazy thing is, with this power you can interact with thunderclouds in the vicinity, controlling them and using it to shower entire islands with countless lightning bolts. But besides being untouchable, traveling at the speed of lightning, generating 200 million volts of electricity, the user can utilize the electromagnetic properties of electricity. Enel does this by combining his own observation hockey through the Goro Goro no Mi's ability to read electromagnetic waves. This allowed him to gain a constant radar-like awareness of everything happening in and around Skypiea, from locations of people to their actions and even conversations. And if you guys think about it more deeply, this fruit can give you the power of magnetism.
Okay, guys, that's it for our list. I think it's pretty good. I think we covered everyone. Did I miss anyone that's overpowered?
But what about the Bar no Mi? Buggy can split an atom.
Hey, and we did forget to mention the rest of the admirals too.
What about Caesar Clown? He can just turn off the oxygen in the air.
Yo, this list is
Hey, that's it. I'm blocking you. I'm blocking you. I'm blocking you. Hey, you guys ain't even Yonkos. I don't know what you guys are doing here. Bloody hell, mate. Listen, guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, forget about these dosses. Listen, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Don't forget to like the video. And let me know your favorite or what's your strongest devil fruit in the comment section below. Obviously, it has to be... I don't know.
The Hobi Hobi No Mi.
These guys got me confused. Hey, shut up, bro.